Now it's time for Culture Talk. This is the segment where we talk about the intersection of faith and pop culture and how culturally relevant topics can be used to start conversations about your faith. Thanks so much for being here, Jeff.
It's good to be here, Sandra.
We're going to be talking about artificial life. So as sci-fi fans, you and I have seen our fair share of artificial intelligence, things from Westworld and Marvel's Vision. Those are all very exciting and fun to see. But you recently wrote an article about something very real. It's a cyber slug, a virtual cyber slug, or a self-aware cyber slug. Can you explain?
Okay, so the headline was creating a virtual self-aware cyber slug. And so that kind of caught my mind because self-aware kind of has that human component to it. But it does. It's just got that idea that we're somehow on the verge of creating intelligent creatures that can do things. The virtual just means that it was built inside a computer. So this isn't an organism that we built and wanders around, but it's something where we've been able to take the brain structure from this slug, build it, replicate it inside a computer, and then ask, how does this thing behave? And it behaves in a way that it's not just programmed to do, but where it actually kind of pays attention and learns some things. And that's really what's kind of fascinating in my book.
So they've mapped the neurons of this cyber slug, or this slug.
Right.
And that's all like really novel work that they're doing.
It is, yes.
But from a Christian perspective, sometimes it can be a little scary, like this is now going to be, will it change our view of human uniqueness and change God's role as creator? So how would you respond to those concerns?
Well, and I think that's a big concern because one of the things that I think is true about humanity is that we're the only creatures that God's created, at least here on earth, that have that capacity to think about ourselves and say, why am I hungry and what am I going to do? And so when you use that term self-awareness, it's attributing something that is kind of uniquely human, at least in terminology, to something that's not human. And so if we can make things that are like people, well, maybe we're not so special. That's kind of the weight of that article there, or the discussion. But what I found as I investigated that is that what they've done is made a very primitive organism, been able to replicate how it behaves in nature, and then they called that self-aware only because the organism actually it takes into account what's going on in its environment in terms of how it behaves. So it's not self-awareness in the way that humans would be. And I think that's important to remember because I'm convinced that as we continue to explore, we're going to see that humans really are distinct from all the other creatures.
So then would you say that this sort of work shows how creative the human mind is to even step into this and think about
it really is. I mean, God has made us in His image. He's a creator, and so we're a creator. And the idea that we can start mapping out how life behaves and kind of replicate it. The thought is from a lot of naturalists is that as we add all the complexity, we're going to get humanity. The reality of this is shown is as we've tried to do things that are human, we see how unique and how remarkable humans are. I mean, even though we've built computers that can outplay humanity in chess, they can't relate to other people, and they take far more power to do that. And so it really does exemplify that humans really are unique and a remarkable creation by God.
Wonderful. So then how would we look again at these discoveries and find some other positive reasons why we can be excited about this work?
Well, I think it's exciting because it's going to show more about how humanity really is created in God's image. And as we begin to explore that, people just seem pretty fascinated. That's why I think there's all these movies about artificial intelligence. But just being able to engage that, and as we understand what Christianity has to say, when people are saying, oh yeah, this means whatever, it's like, well, Christianity says this, and I think that provides a better explanation. And now you're having a conversation about the gospel. So I think I can't wait to see what we're going to continue to find because I'm convinced it's going to show that how the Bible describes things is how God has done things.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that encouraging news, Jeff. And if you want to hear more from Jeff, you can connect with him on Twitter at @RTB_J Zweerink. And you can also find his blog, Impact Events, on reasons.org.